Howdy there, YouTube. This is Project Goof Clone number 36. I don't know why I'm using this accent, but we're gonna roll with it for a bit. And I got some invasions for you. At rune level 100 is an int build. It makes me very intelligent using this build. You know, playing at metal level with sub 20 levels. It's very intelligent in my opinion. But here's the thing about rule level 100 is, yes, you can match with Metal Lords, but you can also match with genuine co-opers sometimes, which is what I've done here. I've invaded this guy. And, you know, he's your typical host. He's got rivers of blood. You know, he's just pressing that button, you know. I don't know if he's ever played Metal Gear Rising, but I'm sure Jetstream Sam would be his favorite dude, but I bet even he wouldn't know how to press a button other than L2. Even though I'm playing on PC, he's probably playing with a controller. So I've chucked on the Bleed Talisman because, you know, Rivers of Blood, whilst kinda gimmicky, it still does real damage. You gotta be aware of that. Everything does real damage, but Rivers of Blood is just... it's great. Great katana. I just wish it was less popular. But here's the thing about this guy. He's fat rolling. And there is a little bit of latency where that sort of makes him safe, but nowhere near enough. Nowhere near enough. I don't know where he's from. I'm going to assume he's US, but if he wants to be safe, fat rolling, consider moving somewhere, my dude. Hang on. We're moving on to some different invasions. We got a co-op duo over here. And these guys are actually pretty cool. I actually really liked this invasion. It was very back and forth, and they were, you know... originally, they didn't even know I was here. And they sort of didn't really know what to do. Especially this host here. He's just sort of hanging in the back, just trying to, you know, get himself ready for what's about to happen. Classic little 2v1. I want to kill this Phantom because I see the staff in his hand and I need that gone, but what I didn't realize is they're both casters to a certain degree. So, I figure I'll come back, retreat, reassess the situation. They're gonna buff up, you know, that's all well and good. Don't know why I threw that. That was a terrible trade. Didn't even trade, it was just awful on my part. But I'm trying to experiment with these consumables, I think they're really cool, but I'm not quite sure what to do with them just yet, you know. Despite being an int build, I have literally only one spell, and I don't use it. At all. Should probably grab some more spells, but I kinda rushed this character. Just grab him to his level, grab the rings I need, and everything else was not important. So I really want to kill this Phantom. The Phantom here is the threat, in my opinion, but I gotta keep the host off me as well, which I've done. Try and get the Phantom alone by himself. And this is where the latency sort of plays into account, because despite my attack being quite fast, I can't tell if they're reaction rolling me, or if it's just, you know, the delay between us making it look like it. Man, I hate lightning bolts in this game. But definitely want to interrupt that. You know, I've already used my physic, I can't have them using theirs as well. And then I decide that it's probably a good idea to need more damage. Maybe a spell parry would be useful as well. That was my thinking, anyway. Now, Glintstone Pebble is busted, but I don't actually really even get it off in this invasion, I don't think. It does way too much damage. But it is what it is. This spell is really annoying me. And it has always annoyed me. I get that little carrying retaliation. It doesn't do anything, as it shouldn't. But I do need to get this guy off me and sort of reassess myself. But this is the thing, what I like about this version, is both these players want to fight. And I would prefer this infinitely over, you know, the ulterior, which is just backpedaling constantly. I wouldn't even mind losing to these guys, you know, they're trying to split my attention. They're playing this sort of tactically. About as tactically as you can in a Souls game, I suppose. We'll use that consumable, try to get them off me, the gravity chunk, just so I can juice up. And I think here, right about now, as I'm sort of thinking about using the Darkmoon Greatsword. But at the same time, I don't get to use it to its full potential here, unfortunately. Because, as brave as this host is, he must have been in his menus or something. Because now he's dead. GG's to these guys. I quite like this invasion a lot, despite, you know, spells. Spells existing. Now, this invasion was weird. And it showcases how much of an idiot I am. I'm gonna cut forward for this because the host is hiding. And I think the Phantom was hiding as well, but I never found them. But I'm looking around for like 2 minutes. And then I realize they're dried-fingered. So I see this red Phantom up ahead. A recusant, I believe his name was. Erd Tree Protector. Using the best fashion in the game. Now, my experience with reds is very subpar. I thought he was going to attack me just then. Just a good old fellow red PTSD. But this guy finds him straight away. Like, straight away. And I didn't even realize. Host wasn't having it, though. He wanted to engage in a little bit of tomfoolery. But I guess he wasn't having it being found. Now, this one here. This invasion in particular, I actually had to watch a couple of times because I didn't even know what happened. But I'll explain it sort of in real time if I can. So we got a dude in the back with Bloodhound's thing, and we've got Omen Phantom with the Night Rider's glaive. Now, I shouldn't have engaged them here. I should have waited, sort of spaced them out. But I tried to engage, and then I just get completely and utterly just comboed out because I thought the Phantom was in hit stun, but he poised for my attack, and everything just obliterated me. This invasion was really cool. Shout out to my Phantom, Truggle, who we'll see very shortly. I think his name was Truggle. Correct me if I got that wrong. It's a 2v1 co-op. They're going through this area. Kudos to that, because this area fucking sucks. I hate the Zamor warriors. Now, Host is using double katanas, but he's not really the threat here. The threat here is this Phantom. Now, I can tell straight away that this is not his first rodeo. So, he's sort of the main threat, and I keep my gaze on him pretty much the entire time. Whereas the Host just sort of... He's engaging me, don't get me wrong, but he's not something I have to worry about terribly. Now, I'll chuck on a World Crab here just for the moment, because I don't want to get deleted. Very high chance of getting deleted here, and he does the same thing. I think he used a green turtleneck. I couldn't quite tell. Get a laser beam on the Host, get him to back away for a bit. I thought I'd be able to roll in time, but that wasn't the case. Need to keep that in mind for later. So I swing, and then I retreat. As a Lord Saint Riot has asked us to do. Need to swing before you can go back to safety. Now, latency, once here again, it's there, but it's not terribly prevalent. I don't have to, like, play in advance or anything. I can sort of play this sort of reactively. But I gotta keep those pokes in mind. I get stuck here for a little bit, but, once again, doesn't really matter. Not sure why I threw that, personally. I'm still trying to play around with all these consumables. Now, normally I would heal here, but I want them to stay aggressive because I outdamage them significantly. Like, crazily. He rolls that, takes no damage though, but he's Frostbite procced for the rest of the match. Pretty much. Now I go to juice up here, but the Host says no. So I gotta back away a little bit more. Nearly get blended. That's okay. Keep an eye on the Phantom. Once again, it's the true threat. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter. Because the Host got thirsty. GG's to both of you. But especially the Phantom. That was a fun invasion. Okay, so here's a little grievance that I have with Elden Ring, and this has been a grievance I've had for a little while, actually, even before Elden Ring even came out, is, don't get me wrong, I love multiplayer. I love co-op. Co-op is the reason I can invade, for the most part. But, at some point, people have to realize you should not be running around the mountaintops with 700 health. Shout out to my boy Fire Prelate. He goated for defending this bridge. But I've noticed that a lot, and I mean a lot of wizards have like 0 health. And they're running around going, "Wah! The invader man's killing me and my friends because he keeps one-shotting us." My brother in Christ, level your vigor. Please. Now, talking about latency, as resident Australian, don't get us wrong. A lot of Australians, or just a lot of laggards in general, we play on these connections so often that it becomes very easy for us to abuse it. And you know, I've had a lot of people go, that shouldn't have hit me and whatnot. And I agree. Don't get me wrong. Elon Musk, come to Australia, give us a proper internet connection, and then also somehow fix, location differential. That'd be great. Anyway, moving on. But this will become prevalent in a different invasion. I don't know what's wrong with this blue. But I'm gonna kill him anyway. Let's just take a bit. There we go. Now this host, absolute chicken shit, right? True, he comes in and attacks me, but like, jumping attacks is all that he'll do. See what I mean? Can't punish it because of latency. You sort of have to play in advance, if that makes any sense, and truth be told, I was not on my game. I was not on my ball. I'm not a terribly good player to begin with, but even for me, this is probably poor play. We got another blue in the background. We've killed two phantoms so far. And using spells, and to my knowledge, I don't really have anything that can contest that. Not at this pace. Got a little Moonveil action going on. We got some frenzy snipes in the background. I don't know if that spell will kill me or not. I'm just not gonna try. Interrupt the Scarlet Rot Breath. But I know the third boy is coming in, and I know he's a caster because he was super, what's the word? Brittle. Vigilant, if you will. So I try to put pressure on him, just poke him a little bit. His friends come to rescue him, and I think, right, I gotta leave. I gotta go across the bridge, reassess the situation. Oh, stinks on the wall. That's fine. We're just gonna get out of here. I hate this spell, by the way. It's the bane of my existence. If anyone in the comments can tell me how to deal with that spell in this sort of situation, feel free to let me know. I wanted to knock the host off the bridge, but Verticality Jesus said no. So it's 3 dudes with spells. And I'm just sort of thinking to myself, what can I do in this situation? They're all chasing me, which is great. I kind of hoped they wouldn't, so I could just, collect myself. So I'm thinking, what's my options here? I can carry a retaliation, and I can maybe one-shot them with Glintstone Pebble. But that involves me going in. What I probably should have done is use the Hand Ballista. I keep forgetting I have it. I used that spell to try to get them off me, but then I forgot they have range. I took a fat L against these guys, and they're like, "Yay! We killed the Invader Man! Look at us go! We're so good!" Oh well, GG's anyway. Don't get me wrong, I was mad during the actual invasion, but looking back on it, it's just silly. Now, this is an invasion that I think, this was just after, this is all in one session, by the way. I'm thinking to myself, I want to use some poking weapons. They're not great on int builds. Can't really make use of Spear Talisman like you could in a physical build. Because to my knowledge, frost counter attacks benefit greater if you're just using physical as opposed to split damage. We got this host, Great Ruined Host. He's got Scarlet Rot, which tells me two things with the breath, with the dragon breath. A, he's got Faith, which you can clearly see. We've got two Phantoms using Vike's Spear. But he also has a little bit of Arc, which, you know, a lot of players tend to mix up. You know, they've got the Blood Incantations and Dragon Communion spells and Frenzy spells. So I'm thinking to myself, what other weapons could he possibly pull out? First option, you know, there's Rivers of Blood. Oh hey, there's a blue there. I didn't even notice. So I think to myself, alright, there's three dudes. Probably want to solo the Phantom. He's probably got the weakest moveset out of all of them. And these guys are just content to just sort of hang back. And this blue, he makes the fatal mistake of going into PvE. I don't know if he thought his friends were going to help him, but they did not. They're just standing there. Just like a hair on a biscuit. Anyone going to help him? Nope. Oh, you're going to try and snipe me. Shout out to sound cues, by the way, being able to dodge that without even knowing where it's coming from. So the blue gets ganked by bats, and I noticed that they've actually ended up trying to help. Too little, too late. Shout out to PvE for making this invasion bearable. Phantom's dead. Truly carried, in my opinion. So I know that this host has Rivers of Blood. There's one thing that they like to do. Failed parry, by the way. I don't even know if he can parry that part. But due to my Australian heritage, I try not to parry. It's just not worth it half the time. Shout out to Giant Hunt, aka the Rivers of Blood killer. Probably the only reason I beat this guy, to be honest, because Giant Hunt is so good. Just trying to outspace him. You know, because on any latency, you never know how far that Rivers will go. For a moment there, I thought he broke my poise and I was just gonna die, but once again, crutching on that latency. Hashtag Australia. Now, this final invasion, at least I'm pretty sure this is the final invasion, probably a little bit of advice on what not to do if you've been invaded by a red man. If you're in the middle of a dungeon or a high risk area, right? Running is one thing, but you gotta have a plan. I don't know if they actually knew I was here. I certainly gave them enough sound cues, but then they run straight into the Zamor warriors, the ancient heroes. And I think, okay, what exactly is their plan here? They don't engage with them, they just sort of run past. I see the host, but I see the Phantom split off, and he's in trouble. And I want to make sure he pays for that mistake. Now, that attack, I knew in my soul that that was going to connect. And that is because of latency abuse. Don't get me wrong, I wish it didn't hit him. I think that shouldn't happen, but I'm glad it did. I thought he was going to turn around using Twin Blades. He did not. Trying to use some consumables again. But then, sort of halfway through, I sort of realized that he's not going to engage with me at all. So I need to pull out Old Faithful once again. 1, 2, and that's all she wrote. Well, that's pretty much all that I've got for you at the moment. Subscribe for more vids if this is something you want to see, and I'll catch you later.